Want to say hi? Don't bite me. I should say hi. Whoa! Say hi. Kitty, why won't... Ow, 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 ow. My God, man. Why are you biting me? Hello. Hey everyone, it's Ethan or Miist back again for another video today, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here again for yet another interesting video. We're going to be talking about every movie I watched last week, and it was a really good week. I had one of my best weeks of the year, and honestly, this is probably the most I've watched since like mid-February in a week at least. So I did really, really good this week, and I'm very happy about that. But yeah, I believe we watched 16 movies, or I watched 16 movies last week, so that's really, really good. But yeah, let's get right into it. Starting it off with my least favorite, and it's actually now in the bottom 10 all time for me as well, but it's Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. So it's the second one, and this one was absolute shit. Let me move over actually, because I'll be putting my review here. Anyways, this was absolutely shit. I could not see a thing this entire movie. Everything was black. I couldn't see a thing. Yeah, this entire movie is action scene after action scene, and I was beyond bored watching this. Officially done these movies now, and yay, what a relief, haha. And by these movies, I mean Alien Predator movies, because most of them are not good in my opinion. But with that being said, I don't think they're as bad as the Friday the 13th movies, but some are quite shit. This one gets a 15 out of 100 to be, I think, number 9 or number 10 in the bottom 10. So it's just barely in the bottom 10. But yeah, let's keep going to a 2024 release, Irish Wish, which I ranked a 16 out of 100. A dumb-ass movie, but Ireland looked great, and that's all I wrote for my review, because this was not a good movie. This was like a Netflix Hallmark movie, which is really bad combination. So, anyways, let's keep going to Alien vs. Predator. This one was bad, for sure. It definitely wasn't good. It was a little... Hi, I'm getting kitty pets right now. This definitely wasn't as bad as the second one. I ranked this, a 34 out of 100, but my biggest issue with this movie is that I refuse to believe that predators are in power of xenomorphs. I do not fear predators like I fear xenomorphs. Obviously, predators are technically more technologically advanced, but I just think aliens are such more of a threat, so much more of a threat. Anyways, the Xenos looked really, really great in this movie. That was definitely the big thing that I enjoyed about this movie. The Xenomorphs looked really, really good. You gonna try to jump in the closet? Maybe. Anyways, let's keep going. To Predator 2. All I wrote for this one was, these are not very good or entertaining, with the cowboy emoji, because yeah, I didn't really care for this one much either. Unfortunately, there's only one Predator movie that I actually enjoyed. So, well, technically two, actually, but we'll talk about it here shortly. Anyways, yeah, this one wasn't really good either. I didn't really like the New York setting. I didn't really gravitate towards any of the cast in any of the Predator movies either, except for really just one character, which I'll talk about later on, but let's keep going to The Predator, the 2018 release. I ranked this one at 44 out of 100, and all I wrote was, Shane Black has made my least favorite MCU movie and almost my least favorite Predator movie. This one made me laugh a few times, but I don't know if it's because it was actually funny or I was cringing, which is never a good sign if you don't know which is which. But yeah, Shane Black made Iron Man 3, which is my least favorite Marvel movie. Well, MCU movie, not Marvel movie. And also this Predator movie, which I really do not enjoy either. The 11-foot Predator was a interesting idea, but I don't know, it just didn't really do anything for me, I guess. So, yeah, 44 out of 100. It was just a bad movie. But let's move on to another 2024 release, Immaculate, which This one was really interesting because I had heard pretty solid things about this movie, but I was pretty let down by this movie. I didn't really gravitate towards this at all, and I had it before last night, or before yesterday, I should say. I hadn't watched the Sydney Sweeney movie, and then yesterday I watched two, so we'll talk about the other one later. But yeah, I don't know. This movie was alright, but I definitely would imagine this to be one of Sydney Sweeney's best acting performances, especially the end. The ending scene was like genuinely powerful, and I felt I really liked the way the movie ended, but the rest of the movie, it just didn't really do it for me. So it's a pretty mid rating at a 57 out of 100, but I would say I enjoyed it more than I hated it, so that's a good thing at least. But it's still, right around that same rating I've been giving most 2024 movies so far. I'm at, I think, 2023. No, sorry, I'm at 2024 watches is what I meant to say. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on to another 2024 release, Roadhouse. All I wrote for this was Big Dick because I thought that was the funniest fucking name ever because it's so fucking stupid. I could definitely see people enjoying this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of like an underground classic in a few years, especially for like film bros that love Jake Gyllenhaal, which I am one, but I did not enjoy this movie. I ranked it a 59 out of 100. It was really cool to see Post Malone, but he was literally only in the opening scene of the movie, which was pretty depressing. Although the song in that movie that he made for the movie is amazing. I cannot wait for that to be released. I'm not a country guy, but that shit was fire, and I believe it's called Horsepower. I cannot wait for that to be released. But honestly, I didn't really care for Gyllenhaal's performance in this much, which I typically love his performances, but I didn't really care for it that much. I didn't really find he was that intimidating either, especially after watching the original with Patrick Swayze. But yeah, Conor McGregor, he was pretty intimidating. He's pretty cool. Not a great actor, but I couldn't do any better either, so it's fine. All right, let's move on to arguably my favorite Predator movie, and there's just one scene in this movie that really fucking ruined it for me. But honestly, this was my favorite Predator movie, without a doubt. But I am just not putting it above the first one because of the scene about two characters talking about raping women, and I just think that's fucking ridiculous. This was made in 2010, and it's not like, it's not that old. If this was made in like the 50s, it would make more sense, but the fact that this was made in the 2010s, I just refuse to give that any points for a pass whatsoever. So it lost the majority of its points because of that. I did enjoy this cast the most, probably. This is a pretty stacked cast too, actually. But yeah, that scene was just really inexcusable for me, and it lost a lot of points for that. So ultimately not my favorite Predator movie. But let's keep going to the original Roadhouse, which I ranked a 71 out of 100. All I wrote for was chaos. This was kind of the week of short reviews, I guess, but there are some long ones coming. But yeah, this one was enjoyable. I definitely did enjoy this. Sam Elliott, Patrick Swayze are both really cool guys that are badasses that I wouldn't mess with personally. So that was pretty fun to watch. And yeah, this was, I feel like the one word of chaos really does describe this movie because it was a good chaos, like it was an enjoyable chaos, and I just enjoyed my time with it. So a 71 out of 100 is not bad by any means. It was a good movie. First good movie of the week, but let's keep going to the original Predator. Similarly to Alien, I was a bit underwhelmed and disappointed. I had heard so many good things about this movie, but I really didn't think it was that great. I barely even thought it was good. I only ranked it a 72 out of 100, so I was pretty disappointed with this one as well. I am glad to have knocked off the Alien and Predator movies off my watch list, but still, I would say for the most part, both of these movies or both of these franchises were kind of disappointing. Also, I just need to go back to Predators. It's definitely not my favorite Predator movie. There is two above it, obviously. Predator, and then Prey, which we'll talk about here shortly. But yeah, anyways, let's just keep going to my first watch of the week, which I watched last week, which was Ferrari. I really wanted to love this, but unfortunately I just don't. However, I still enjoyed it. And that climax scene, that ending, that finale, like, dude, that final scene of the crash, when I tell you my jaw was on the floor, like, that is an understatement. My jaw was dropped. Like, I didn't even know what to fucking say. I was stunned, and I did some research about it. Obviously, spoilers if you haven't watched Ferrari, but it blew my mind, man. That was the craziest death scene I have ever seen. It was not really expected, but I remember when the cameras panned to whatever those things were in the road, and we're like, why are we looking at this for so long? And then not long after, we find out why, and holy shit, a brutal scene. And like I said, absolutely had my jaw on the floor. But a 78 out of 100, so it's still good. I've heard really good things about this, but I didn't love it, so, unfortunate. But we'll move on to my last watch of the week, which was Anyone But You. And man, I really regret not seeing this earlier. I've heard pretty solid things about this movie. I've heard good things about this movie. And then yesterday, me and my friend were talking about it, and he said he did not like this movie. He had seen it with his girlfriend. His girlfriend didn't like it either. And he said it was really shit. So I really wanted to watch it. I decided to watch it yesterday, and I was absolutely cackling. I was laughing so much. I thought it was so funny, and I really enjoyed it. So, what could you do? A 79 out of 100. But let's move on to... actually, is this... I think this is the first movie of the week that is a rewatch that I've watched before, which is Ocean's 11. Excuse me. I still do not believe that this is the greatest heist movie ever made. I believe that belongs to Fast Five. Excuse me. And I know that's a hot take, and I don't care. So I think this movie got better on a rewatch. I enjoyed it a little bit more. I ranked it an 86 out of 100 originally, and I moved it up to an 88 out of 100. So obviously I think it is better than I remembered. But I still don't think it's the best heist movie. Maybe the more I watch it, the more I love it. But Mel absolutely loves these movies. We're going to watch the others at some point as well. But yeah, overall, it's still a great movie, without a doubt. Now, on to the top three, which is pretty interesting. I fully intended to rewatch Prey and think it was severely overrated by myself, because I had originally ranked this at, I think it was an 89, and I thought I was going to lower this to low 80s, high 70s, but I was so fucking wrong. I raised this to a 92 out of 100. It's tied with my favorite Aliens movie. It's without a doubt my favorite Predator movie. And it was the best Predator movie, without a doubt, in my opinion. It is amazing. I think it is tremendous. I think it's incredibly intimidating, or Predator itself is incredibly intimidating and scary, with some tremendous, unique kills, and I loved it. It was so good. It was so much better than all the Predator movies. And yeah, this one just really left a good taste in my mouth, because I thought it was going to get lowered, but it just got a higher rating, which really surprised me. So, with that being said, now on to the top two of the week. I'd watched a lot of bad movies this week, and I just needed to pick me up, and I haven't watched the Spider-Verses yet this year, so I decided to go back and rewatch them since it's been a few months, but I'm so glad I did once again, because every time I watch both of these movies, I see something new, I see something I didn't know, I learned something about it, and it just gets better each fucking time, man. Both of them ranked a 100 out of 100, but I'll talk about Into the Spider-Verse first, because I do prefer Across the Spider-Verse. I think it's better. But with that being said, truly spectacular, masterful, and electric. It somehow manages to not only amaze me, but also get better each time I watch it. And I've had it ranked at 100 out of 100 almost always since my first time watching it. And I remember when I had first watched this, I didn't get to see it in theaters, unfortunately, so I had first watched it, I think, in 2021, in the summer of 2021. I watched it once on a Friday, and I loved it so much, I watched it again that following Sunday, so 2 days later. I just remember I enjoyed it so much that I watched it twice in a weekend. And that's weird because I've never done that with another movie when it wasn't in theaters, and it was a first time watch for me. So that was really cool. But yeah, this movie is fucking perfect. I can't even say anything else about it because it's fucking immaculate. But with that being said, it's not my favorite of the two. Number 2 is without a doubt my favorite, and I'm going to read my review to this because I feel like this really sums it up. So I started off with, there's a point to this because it's a long spiel, but once upon a time in 2019, I decided that Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD was my favorite song ever, and I never thought it would dethrone Call Me by Nav, but it seemed inevitable. Not long ago, I decided that Blood on My Jeans by Juice WRLD is my favorite song ever because it was inevitably going to pass Lucid Dreams, which it has. But anyways, this is exactly how I'm feeling about this movie and Avengers Infinity War. I truly never thought I would witness a movie better than Avengers Infinity War, but today, while I was watching this for the 9th time in the 9 months since its release, I was really considering this my favorite movie ever made at this point, and I just think it's inevitable, really, which is crazy, man. Like I said in my review, I never, ever, 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 ever thought that Avengers Infinity War would not be my favorite movie of all time, but I really need to watch Infinity War, The Batman, and Across the Spider-Verse back to back to back because those are my top 3 movies, and I really need to decide which is my favorite of those 3 because obviously I've watched Infinity War more than both The Batman and Across the Spider-Verse, but I've watched The Batman, I believe, 8 times since its release, and I've watched Across the Spider-Verse 9 times since its release, and we just celebrated the 2-year anniversary of The Batman while it's been 9 months since Across the Spider-Verse came out, and I've watched it more, so Across the Spider-Verse is my most watched movie on Letterboxd, I believe, as well. I think it just passed The Batman with that 9th watch. So anyways, thank you guys all so much for watching. This was a long one, I'm sorry. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.